But Hicks is tonight's referee. He's the man in the middle. St Helens pitch looking in great order. And everyone, I think, expecting a tri-fest from the Saints after their last two matches.
So already the amount of points that they've scored, they're just a phenomenal beast. There's the way that they're playing the game. And I thought there was a lot of character in the side when Catalan took on Hull last week. They were down by 14 points to 8 at half-time. They came back, they got the result that they were after, and what a debut for Josh Drinkwater.
Well, there's the first mistake of the night from Samisoni Lange. He's dropped the kick-off, and they'll go back to the first mistake, and it will be head and feed at the scrum to St Helens.
They've got to get the start right, Catalan Dragons. It was a difficult kick, straight from the kick-off. Lange gets that all wrong. He's got too far to travel, under pressure, and Saints straight on the attack already.
And Catalan will be breathing a sigh of relief, Steve McNamara in particular, that no real damage done after that knock-on. Look where it was, just 10-12 metres away from their own line. The Saints couldn't capitalise. Can they on that scrum feed now? Because here is Lomax, and he gets the ball away in the tackle. And it's Ryan Morgan who will play it there to Lomax. Looking on the charge for Luke Thompson. He drives it into within 9 metres of the line. Roby now at dummy half. Back into centre field it comes with Richardson. There is Farge. French international, of course, Theo Farge, formerly with the Catalan Dragons. Roby back in the side for the first time in 3 weeks. Finds John Wilkin. Here is Kyle Amor. And Amor gets them to within a couple of metres of the line. St Helens looking to get off to a flying start in the opening 2 minutes of this match. Here is Farge again, gets it away to Lomax. Wide it comes, looking for Regan Grace. Misplaced pass. Justin Holbrook barks an instruction down the walkie-talkie. And that's not what they would have expected after that scrum feed.
Communication needs to be better as well, though, from Catalan. I mean, they made the mistake last week when they got the result they were looking for already. They were completing at 83%. They missed 45 tackles in that game. If you complete low against Saints and you miss that many tackles, well, you're going to concede some points. Shooting in, trying to close the play down. It's all about communication, defending your line. If you're short on numbers, you've got to talk to the man next to you and just push out the space.
St Helens won 21-12 in Perpignan in round 2 in February. They played the last 28 minutes with 12 men. Morgan Knowles, who starts tonight on the bench, was sent off in that match, but they also had 12 men for all of the second half at Salford last week when they scored 60 points for a second game in a row for the first time since the inaugural Super League season of 1996. In 96 it was 68-2 against Sheffield, 66-14 against Warrington as they won the title under the old first past the post system. Matty Lees was the man sent off last week, of course. Good deep kick here from the Dragons, and Regan Grace. That's as good as a 40-20.
Michael McAlorum, not renowned really for his kicking, decides on the fourth tackle to jump out and pop it, and it's time to perfection.
Well, it was one of McAlorum's kicks that produced a try last week, a short grubber, an attacking one. I think Catalans need to improve a lot of things in the second half of the season, but they need more from the hooker, whether it be McAlorum or Da Costa when he comes on later. They need a greater threat, better vision, something for the opposition to worry about when the player behind the player, the ball, that's usually the number 9, the hooker, has his hands in possession.
Well, a similar scrum feed here to Catalan Dragons that Saints had at the other end of the field just a few moments ago. That's Josh Drinkwater, and he gets the ball into centre field to Louis Anderson. Back from 3 out as a substitute against Hull. This now Remy Casti. What a player this is for the Catalan Dragons, Remy Casti. This is his 277th appearance for the club. Fantastic record he's got. Lange gives it to Drinkwater. Drinkwater then hands it on to Gigo. Gigo looks for the runner. It's Braden Williami. And here's Drinkwater again. Left-footed kick underneath the sticks. Claimed by Theo Farge. And Theo Farge, I think, has lost the ball. And in fact, he's lost it illegally. The ball was stolen, says referee Robert Hicks.
Well, kicking on the third play, I'm not so sure that Steve McNamara would have wanted that. Maybe just keep going, build a bit more pressure. Theo Farge goes on the ground. And you can see that Greg Bird's in the tackle along with a teammate. Ripped the ball from the young French captain.
Hold, go.
Well, he obviously wanted the referee Robert Hicks to play on. But Saints benefit from the penalty. Greg Bird, he certainly is the star of the show for the Catalan Dragons. First grade debut 16 years ago last week. Greg Bird. Lemo gets to his feet somewhat untidily over the top of Vincent Duport. This is Thompson.
Stand, hold, Mike. Hold, go, 3.
Thompson plays the ball there to Roby. He has a scamper from dummy half. That's high from Casti. Will that be penalised? No, it won't. Referee gives Remy Casti the benefit of the doubt. Richardson and Wilkin. Gets the ball away to Farge. Dab over the top looking for the speed of Regan Grace. Lewis Tierney is there, and Lewis Tierney does well to allow the ball to go over the line, but he touched it before it hit the deck.
Well, there's the tackle on Roby, just half a step behind St Helens. Roby, with that quick speed of thought of his, jumps out, and there's the kick.
And that's played. Well, it's played off him, isn't it? He's shielding the ball out. He's got to let the ball touch the floor for it to be dead. So it'll be a goal line dropout. Well spotted by Robert Hicks.
So goal line dropout for Catalan Dragons to defend. And it's the man who won the match last week with the drop goal, Tony Gigot, who gets that drop kick away up to halfway. Thompson runs it back. Gigot, by the way, playing his 100th Catalan appearance tonight. Maybe 8 years ago, his career has taken a few twists and turns since. Amor now for the Saints. Roby to Wilkin. Wilkin then to Richardson. Richardson finds Lomax. Lomax tucks under the challenge. Tries to get away from Gigot. He collars him, pulls him down. Roby again. This is Wilkin. Quick hands. Finds Richardson. He finds Farge. Percival steps inside. One would-be defender steps inside 2 more. Julian gets a hand on him. McIlorum helps out and finishes him off. Down he goes on tackle number 3. The 5 metres away. Wilkin has lost the ball.
Do you know, Eddie, that's 2 now, isn't it? 6 minutes played, 2 try-scoring opportunities. You could even maybe say 3 that Saints have blown. And for Catalan to win this game, they need that to happen more often as well. We've seen in the last 2 weeks, you've talked about how many tries they've scored. But again here tonight, it's hard to be at that level to make every pass stick and every scoring opportunity count. They're missing a few here. They're missing a few. They won't be as good tonight as they were without him on the field.
One good thing is that, well, if Saints perform anything like and they get the win, you would imagine that the Betfred Super League Man of the Match title will go to one of his colleagues, and at least someone will go home with the money and the silver solver. And a charity other than Ben Barber's will benefit tonight, because he's won the majority of them when we've been here.
He has been that good, though. He's been that dominant, and he's just playing on the back of what his teammates are doing. Catalan are struggling now. The last couple of sets, they give a penalty away underneath the Saints line, then all of a sudden, look, they're finding it difficult to get forward. They've got to be disciplined. They've got to make sure that they get the tackles in, get through the sets, match Saints every time they take the ball forward, and that's a fella who won't get it in, Remy Casti.
Now he gets the Dragons to the 30-metre mark. He go from inside the 40 metres. Gets the kick away, but Lomax cuts it off. Gives it then to Tommy Makinson.
Brilliant defence from St Helens. And look at the run from Makinson. How many times do we see him catch it on the left, skirt across that line and commit defenders? If Saints do make mistakes and they back it up with defence as they did on that occasion, only 20 metres the Dragons made with the ball before they had to kick it. They're going to go far in this game if they can match the effort and perhaps not crystal clear execution, but if they match their effort in defence, I still can't see past the Saints win.
Roby to Richardson. Greg Bird watched him every inch of the way then. It wasn't him, it was Josh Drinkwater with the tackle. That's a good hit. That's a great hit on Lomax by Williami.
Well, that's how you deal with it. If you are going to come in, you've got to make sure you defend the tackle like that.
Tackle count not wiped down. And that's taken by Gigot in goal. 20-metre restart.
Well, just too much on that kick, but there's one man who is up for this game in a white shirt. That's Michael McIlorum. He is flying out the line. He's trying to get at everyone, put pressure on them. Every time the ball goes up, the ex-Wiganer.
I was going to say, he's an ex-Wiganer. Yeah. He'll want to do well here tonight.
He knows exactly what it's like playing against Saints, what it takes to beat a Saints side, the matchups over the years that he's had with James Roby. That's going to be a very good battle.
Here we come again, though, now with Bousquet. Lost his ever-present record for the season against Hull last week. McIlorum gets it away to Drinkwater. They've missed, with Luke Walsh having so many problems, they've missed a man in the middle of the park who can take control, but they are making too many errors early here. In fact, both sides are, to be fair.
Well, it's just again, the mistakes probably that have cost Catalan that vital field position. They go on the left-hand side. One of the most experienced players, Louis Anderson, 7 years, 7th season at Catalan, a very good player, determined player as well. And they've got to get all the 1%ers right. There's a problem here with John Wilkin, and that could be one from the efforts from McLaurin.
He takes the ball to the line. He's the person that starts those waves where there's a player short, a player out the back. How many times have we watched Saints this year? John Wilkin takes it to the teeth of the defence. Looks like he catches one there, but what wonderful defence from Danny Richardson on Louis Anderson. He forces the mistake, and that's the intensity and effort in defence that Saints will need.
John Wilkin getting running repairs. He made 27 tackles against Salford last week. Only James Roby has made more tackles during the whole of 2018 so far.
Hold, Louis, hold.
And Taylor here will get to his feet and play the ball to Roby again. Here comes Thompson.
Come on, me.
Taylor, of course, is another ex-Catalan. He's a forward. 48 tries in 81 for the Dragons, 2 years. That's good hands. Makinson with a dab through, looking for Lomax. Lomax touches down. I think there might be a question handed up here to video referee Ben Thaler to see whether he's on or offside here. And the
Don't come at me waving your hands out, please. Let me just hit it. Yeah, well, don't do that. Leave it to me.
A reference upstairs, and Robert Hicks obliges. But they do have a try on the field, so they believe that Lomax was not offside. Let's have a look, Stuart.
Well, that's the only question, and you can see clearly there that he's got both feet behind the ball. You know, it certainly looked like Lomax knew what he was doing in support, but he's onside there. They'll check the grounding just as part of the sequence. I don't think there's any problem there. Ball's grounded correctly. This will be confirmed.
So Lomax operating at fullback tonight for superstar Ben Barber is going to get the first points of the evening. And the colour turns blue, and try it is. Saints lead by 4 points to 0. 10 minutes or thereabouts on the watch.
Well, littered with stars, and you take Barber out, you put that England international in. It's a disciplined chase from him. He knows exactly what his teammates do in Makinson. When the ball goes wide here, it's a good pass from Lomax to Morgan, and then the delicate kick inside from Makinson, the correct weight on it. Knew exactly what they were doing. As soon as Lomax passes this ball, he's pushing up in support.
What about the work that Lomax has to do? He's involved in the play early on. When he passes the ball, he's sweeping out on the back. Now, a lot of fullbacks do these days. They start behind the play the ball so that defenders can't account for them. He works out, provides the pass, keeps the same pace on his run. And I did, at first glance, I thought he must be offside. How did he get there that quick? I'll tell you, he got there that quick. Speed.
Well, Catalan beware. He got a hat-trick in the last home game. 66 points to 4 against Huddersfield, did Johnny Lomax. And here is Super League's best goal kicker of the season so far, Danny Richardson, who makes no mistake whatsoever with that. That's his 66th successful kick from his 85th attempt.
You know, there are a lot of good wings in Super League, but is there a better? Are there many better than Tom Makinson? We've seen what he's done when he returns the ball. He provides so much energy and enthusiasm for his team with his pace in which he carries it back when he picks it up near his own half of the field. But to put that kick in there, he's in the right place. And I think you've got to compliment Ryan Morgan to the centre. A lot of people underestimate how important it is to give your winger that early ball, but it was a good catch and pass, and the whole try came as a result.
And the question that a lot of St Helens supporters asking at the moment is, will Tommy Makinson make it to the England jersey for the test against New Zealand in Denver later this year? He's played once for the England Knights, but he's in rip-roaring form in 2018.
He deserves
4 tries
it.
In his last 5.
He deserves it. I think that player deserves it as well. He's been named in the Knights squad, but for me, he's the best front rower in the competition.
Pushed him again,
Tommy
mate.
Makinson puts that kick in, but it's the intensity of that carry. And the young front rower, Luke Thompson, under the ball, hits and drives back, but look at him fighting for his front.
And that's against 2 big pros as well, Barry. 2 men who know how to defend, and last week, even look at the dominance that they've got going forward. They're very hard to control, Saints. 9 of the players last week, I know I keep referring to last week, they made over 120 metres carrying the ball, Eddie. That's ridiculous stat, that.
Well, Greg Bird doesn't really believe that this should have been St Helens' possession from that penalty. He argued the decision with referee Robert Hicks, but now he's back in the defensive line, as you see, as Wilkins spreads it wide again to Richardson. He finds Lomax. Lomax evaded the diving challenge, and Julian gets to him eventually.
Get square. Go.
Plays the ball to Roby. Here's Theo Farge. Now Teya finds Percival. Percival cuts back on the inside.
4. Move, Ben. Hold.
Solid defence though from the Dragons. Wilkin back on the inside again to Luke Thompson. McIlroy in quickly with Casti working overtime in defence. Richardson will hoist the kick out wide to the right-hand side, looking for Makinson. Finding Makinson, clutches it out of the air, plonks it down. Referee Robert Hicks is looking quizzically at his touch judge.
Let's have a five.
Upstairs again.
I have a try. Take the onside, please.
And obviously a question has been raised by touch judge on this near side, Stuart, about the onside, offside.
It has, and I think Robert Hicks was quite surprised by that. I don't think, again, there's a problem. There's a good line there. Just play on from here. So we'll just see the catch in the air, which was perfectly clean, and the ball's grounded. Again, this will be confirmed.
Well, Jody Broughton tried absolutely everything. He backed off, he tried to come forward onto the ball, but he's not going to beat that man, Tommy Makinson.
See, the referee, Stuart, will get some stick because he's given that upstairs to the video referee to have another look at. But you're right, the call came from this near side of the field, which is about, what, 50, 60 metres away?
It was 70 metres away, wouldn't it? Because the rugby league pitch 68 metres wide.
It is. But once a referee gets that information, he can't really go against it. He has to check, because if he doesn't check and there's a problem, then he's going to be in trouble.
6th try of the season for Tommy Makinson, confirmed by video referee Ben Thaler.
Outstanding play from St Helens, a pinpoint perfect kick from Danny Richardson, and what about that for a lead? Arms up, stretched high, he's first to the ball, pouches it, has a good enough grasp and grip on it. Jody Broughton makes it difficult but not impossible, and Justin Holbrook appreciates his side's skill.
So the league leaders are underway again, 10-0, 14 minutes on the clock. This from Richardson to make it 12-0 with the second conversion of the night, he hopes. This time he drags it in front of the posts, so 10-0 it stays.
Well, we just said, didn't we, a few minutes ago how good this winger is, but I think he wanted to back that point up here now. Wonder whether Wayne Bennett's got up early in Australia to tune in and watch this game. He has to be a contender to get on that plane and fly to Denver. He's been fantastic in the first half of the season. The former England coach knows it, doesn't he? But his side, they need to find a way of making tackles without conceding penalties, because that's how they ended up back at their own end of the field. Got 6 more to make right now.
Yes, and another guys, Steve McNamara would have been, I would think, purring at the thought of Tommy Makinson playing on the wing for England, but not these days. There's a very big job on in Perpignan to turn all the promise of the Catalan Dragons into a force in the Super League. Working very hard to do that. Believes that improvement's on the way.
Another big charge from Thompson. They like going this right-hand side, don't they? Normally they do prefer the big shifts to the left, where Percival really are attacking the right-hand side though tonight.
Amor, back it comes to Farge. They switch the direction of the attack here with Zeb Taylor. He'll attack the line. And then I think actually the tackle was good enough from Sony Langi to knock the ball out of his grasp. It was, but he attacked the arm, he didn't hit the ball, so it's head and feed.
Up until that point, Eddie, it was beautiful stuff. They're a great side at making the ball do the work. He's got the ball in 2 hands, he's trying to commit defenders. It ends up being a little bit sloppy, but from the breakover on the right, Johnny Lomax plays the ball, there's a nice, sweet interplay, an interchange of soft passes, and Saints are, for me, the best side at making the ball sing when they've got the opportunity.
Well, 7 of their 12 games so far this season for the Catalan Dragons have been at home, and they have yet to win away from home in 2018. But last Saturday's win against Hull in Perpignan, surely their most significant since Steve McNamara took over from Laurent Freycinet last June. And they journeyed over here yesterday to the UK in good spirits. This is Lewis Tierney coming off the wing to lend a hand down the middle. Josh Drinkwater loses it in collision. It was a great hit. And so it's the mistake, so Theo Farge just rolls the dice. He knows it'll all come back. Now that Jody Broughton has the ball.
You're right, Eddie, it was a great hit. It was Dominic Peru. You know, he's one who's, look, hits underneath the ball. It's almost a perfect tackle you could show to people wanting to learn and play the game here. How do we get possession back when our opponents have it? Well, you hit them like that and you've got a great chance of doing so.
And that's the first time that Josh Drinkwater has touched the ball since he put that early kick in. Put a kick on the third tackle near St Helens line. They didn't get possession back, and it's been virtually 10 minutes of standing back and admiring and watching Saints do their thing.
Let's get down, please.
Well, don't forget, tomorrow night we have a cracker from the Betfred Super League. We hope it's Leeds Rhinos against the Warrington Wolves, 7:30 on Sky Sports Arena. The champions welcoming the form team of the Super League to the ever-changing and progressing Emerald Headingley Stadium. As Roby here at St Helens receives the ball on the halfway line. Luke Thompson makes 10 metres progress before he's grounded by 3. Roby goes to the right-hand side. And Wilkin finds Amor. Amor takes 3 to bring him down as well. He goes down on his back also. This gives the Dragons a little bit of extra time to formulate their defence. Slap pass, but Farge is okay to pick it up. Lost a bit of momentum there on tackle number 4. Roby. In the middle he goes, taking on Julien. Julien sticks to his task. Last one here for St Helens. Kicks wide again. Does Richardson, looking for Makinson once more. This time Makinson palms the ball back. Drinkwater has it. Not a bad place though to turn it over.
It's just relentless from Saints. And looking at Catalan's left-hand side, they really do think there's a weakness over there. Every time that John Wilkin and Saints have the ball, he's calling for it. That's the side that they want to play at. They're letting the ball do all the hard work. Speaking of doing all the hard work now, it's going to be difficult now as Tommy Makinson knocks that ball in for Catalan just to get forward.
Yes, they're only just outside their own quarter here, and that's 4 gone, 20 metres made. Oh, this will help.
I've told you twice already.
Well, they needed it. They absolutely needed it. In the previous set, whenever there's a Catalan player that's carrying the ball, it was Lewis Tierney that I spotted before. He's on his own. He's come in from the right wing, gone into the centre, looking to push forward on the third or fourth player. Nobody's in support if he gets his arm free. They make it an easy target.
They needed something to break that cycle. Saints gaining territory, putting the kick into Catalan's left-hand pocket, and Catalan making no metres and getting nowhere near the Saints try line.
Louis Anderson takes it forward again. As McIlorum gets it away to Braden Williami. He got a try against Hull last week, looking for another here tonight. As Anderson once more looks for the runners. Casti will take it forward again. Club record appearance holder is Remy Casti. This is Gigot. Short ball from him and flat to Williami. And this is a threatening position for the Catalan Dragons with Drinkwater into Lange. Here is Greg Bird. Now, can Greg Bird produce something? And he gets the ball away to Remy Casti. St Helens defensive line standing firm, although Casti has pierced it, but Thompson made sure that he was there. And, well, Thompson again had a second pull at Casti's ankles, so it's another penalty to the Catalan Dragons. Steve McNamara must sense that something's on here. 2 penalties in quick succession.
Against that man, Remy Casti, never gives up. Keeps pumping those legs forward, looking for metres after contact.
Let's go, please, Mike.
Well, the Catalan players now standing around. It's going to be one in. Who's going to organise these players now?
This is Bousquet. Bousquet back to where the penalty was conceded. McIlorum fires the pass to the right-hand side. Drinkwater, soft hands, finds Anderson. Anderson to the line. And St Helens just managed to hold him up the right side of the whitewash. So they'll play it just centimetres away from the Saints try line.
Tackle 2. Wait, please, Louis. Tackle 2. Okay. Go 2.
Now, McIlorum fires the pass to Drinkwater. Here is Greg Bird. Bird then to Lange. And Julien is dealt with. And, 2 defenders. Casti to Bird. It looked as though it might have been forward. That's out of the back door to Drinkwater. Oh, Gigo wasn't waiting for it, but Ryan Morgan was.
Well, Saints, when they're trapped on the line, they they're going to come up with something desperate, and they pull out the line. There's a dangerous tackle here.
Yes, legs came up.
Benjamin Julian just gets underneath. I think Tommy Makinson, again, we've seen what he can do up the other end of the pitch, scoring a couple of tries. He's very good in yardage, bringing the ball away from his line.
So St Helens are 10-0 up midway through this first half. Of course, Challenge Cup next week. The Catalan Dragons are facing Whitehaven in the Cup next weekend, the final remaining third-tier team in the competition. So this is a really vital stage of the season for the Dragons. We've got the Magic coming up soon after that, of course, in Newcastle. And some important matches against the teams around them at the wrong end of the table. Wilkin to Richardson. This is Lomax. St Helens looking to turn the screw here in the first half. And Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook's introduction will do them no harm at all.
It just looked like he lost that ball. Then when he was getting up to play it, Johnny Lomax over on that right hand side, he looked to fix a couple of the defenders. Again, he gets his foot on the ball. It's an incorrect play of the ball. It rolls forward. Thought he got away with it. The England international, unfortunately for him, the referee Robert Hicks spotted the infringement straight away.
Yes, it did go forward, didn't it, Stuart? It's odd that you can get away with murder if you just roll the ball back. You touch it with your foot and you're open to a few problems.
It's the accidentally playing the ball forward that's the issue there.
So Catalan back in possession. What can they do with it this time? It was Jody Broughton who plays the ball here to his opposite winger Lewis Tierney.
They need a spark now, don't they, Eddie? A moment or two ago, St Helens brought LMS, who seems to fill his side full of energy. The Catalan Dragons have just brought Sam Moore on, the hard-working front row. I'm not sure what he'll bring. Bit of toil. He could be the player to bring some spark.
Here he is, on the ball almost immediately. Trundles it in, though, to three St Helens defenders on tackle number 5. So the last one here. Drinkwater with the left-footed kick. High and deep and too deep. Lomax able to pouch that safely. Little scratch at the head.
And 7 players as well, they get Eddie. It was a poor kick, wasn't it? Too much depth on it. Catalan just needed to bring it forward a few metres and just try and keep Saints down there. But they've gifted him 7 players. They've gifted him 20 metres.
Wouldn't it have been simpler when we were bringing those 7 players in to just have a reset on the 30-metre line and still stick to 6 tackles, so the rules for everybody around the world are a bit simpler to learn?
Well, I think they did look at that. That was one of the options they looked at, and they decided to follow the NRL and go with the 7 tackles.
Here is Roby now. Straight down the middle, Moa round his ankles. Good work from Bousquet as well. Richardson and Peyrou. Roby to the right, Richardson. Hoist the kick. Where's Tommy Makinson? That's who he's looking for. All he finds is Jody Broughton. Jody Broughton then just managed to stay within the field of play. Did really well.
You've asked for a spark, maybe that's it there, haven't they? They've survived, they've saved a try in the corner. Broughton's got them rolling forward here, and if anything, maybe there's a chance here that Saints could just drop their intensity somewhat. They've got a 10-0 lead, crowd are satisfied without demanding much more. Just got to slowly build their way back in. I said before the match that last week the Dragons were behind 3 times against Hull, came from behind on 3 occasions, fought their way back and managed to win it in the end.
Eddie, there's a big negative when you're watching Catalan here, and they've got some fabulous players playing tonight. There's not enough push around the ball. Every time good teams go forward, they've got support.
Well, he was inside the 10, apparently. He was ahead of the ball, was Anthony Maria.
And you could hear the referee. He was actually trying to work with the players, talk to the players, saying that you're within the 10, you're in front of the kicker. Just on the left-hand side, he was heard. It was a good call. It was a clear call from the ref. Grace did well to take that as well, because he was under pressure from the back rower.
A good, clear call, Terry, but not in French.
He'd understand it, Eddie. He'd understand it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what your ahead of the ball is in French. Maybe we should ask Bill Arthur, because he's a bilingual member of our team.
I'm not sure it's the referee's job to try and stop penalties either in the match, really. He's influencing the nature of the flow of the game, but the Dragons need to find a way of stopping conceding penalties when they just allowing St Helens to roll up and attack so often, and this guy doesn't need many invitations.
No, he doesn't, and he stabs the ball forward looking for Richardson. And Richardson, well, he just got a little missed kick, and then Greg Bird is rolled over the line.
Greg Bird's going to go berserk here.
You say or no, but they've done everything right there. The player wouldn't get up. At that point, the tackle has not been made, and then two players join in. Lovely footwork.
Perhaps, Barry?
Well, we'll have a look and we'll wait and see. He doesn't look injured to me there. It looks like he's surrendering the tackle. Two players join in and put him over the line. There's nothing wrong with that. Great awareness.
You can see when he's lying on his back here, he's thinking, I'm not going to get up here, because if I get up, I'm going to be pushed back. He stays on the ground, and he's pushed back anyway.
The floor, has it?
And that's the key. Had the ball been touching the floor, or the arm carrying the ball touching the floor.
Are you saying he's faking the injury then?
No, I think he caught an injury when he was bundled over the line by these two defenders.
He's not injured at that point. The ball is up. It's not touched the floor.
Lomax picks him up.
He might have picked up something there, Phil, but when he was on his back, I don't think there was a problem with him.
Two young players have all manned him. That's what they've done.
And there's a lot of responsibility on Greg Bird's shoulders. In that Catalan side, he's made more tackle busts, more offloads than anyone else. He's the key, and one of the keys that everyone looks at. And that man, Steve McNamara, will be hoping that he's okay.
Well, he seems to be stayed though. They're going for a short
Great
drop
play,
out, and that's inventive. And here is Williami. He's scooted it past a couple of defenders and gets brought to ground.
Well, one of our instincts as a human being is to survive. Survival's one, and I think the Dragons have survived in this game. They concede more points, the hill becomes too steep for them to climb. But they've just about got the ball back here when the Saints sensed another score, and they've got themselves back up to the over the halfway line. Brilliant play, bit of variety.
Morgan Knowles just delayed fractionally and opened the door for the Dragons. That's why they're in possession here in St Helens territory, rather than the other way round from the goal line dropout. And it's now with Drinkwater again. Looks for the runners. Good solid stuff down the middle of the field from Jason Baccheri. Here is Lange. Lange goes aerial, and he jumped from the field of play. Regan Grace, he's got to get out of there, and he has.
Isn't he such a good young player? Got enormous talent, big future in the game. Look at this. Oh, really trying to pressure.
Now they should be excited here, shouldn't they, the Catalan Dragons? That's two tackles gone, only 2 meters made.
Well, just get forward, but again, make sure that you're back with the referee. Hitting numbers, dual hits, take him to the ground, make sure your defensive line's set.
Stay onside, don't let the referee catch you. Just trying to buy a metre or so.
Well, that's 4 tackles, and Saints just 13 or so meters away from their own goal line. Good work here. Morgan Knowles takes it forward again, sent off in Perpignan. And that could have been a penalty. The referee was shouting release as Greg Bird took him to the floor. Last one, kick from Richardson.
There you go, that's the reward for good defence. The fullback gets to catch the ball on the full. He's got some time to set his position. Players then don't have as far to get back to involve themselves around the ball.
And that's a good thing for Catalan, because there are 7 players ahead of the ball when Gigo collected the kick downfield. That was Alric da Costa who is on the field. This now Sam Moa. Da Costa gets it to Drinkwater. Here is Maria. So all 4 subs have been thrown on by Steve McNamara here tonight in the opening half hour, as Samisoni Lange takes them on once more. Theo Farge doing well.
There's a kick over to the left coming from Drinkwater.
There it is with the left foot as well. Nice measured kick too. Well claimed by Ryan Morgan.
Well, could have been a penalty then. Danny Richardson. Danny Richardson's the man.
Braden Williami and Danny Richardson collide. Whether there was a legal or illegal collision, we'll have a look here on this. He changes his line and blocks the player.
He does, just runs right across in front of the catcher. Got to be stationary.
Williami couldn't get close. So penalty to the Catalan Dragons. They're seeing a little bit of that Saints line right now.
Repeat possession and good field position. Are they good enough to convert it into points?
And Da Costa. And Julian did well. He did well. Good catch. Pass questionable. De Costa again. Another poor pass all along the deck. Picked up by Tony Gigot.
Makes you appreciate, doesn't it, how good James Roby is at passing the ball from behind the play of the ball. The width and the accuracy they've provided. It's a far harder skill than what it looks.
That's a better effort from Alrix de Costa on the third attempt. This is Sam Moore again. Underneath those St Helens posts. De Costa once more. Short ball. A chance here for Maria. He gets over the line, but he's held up, so they'll go back to the 10.
He attracted some numbers as well then, Maria. There's a bit of space just to the left-hand side of him.
Drinkwater slides the kick in. A chance here for Williami. He scored, I think. Braden Williami, I think he scored. It's all about the grounding.
I have a try.
They do have a try in the field.
First, it's not grounded by Saints, and then he actually grounds the ball.
So it's all about the grounding. It looked all right from up here, but we're miles away.
We are, but we've got the technology, so let's use it to get the right decision. First of all, we'll check onside. Got a nice line there in place, so we can see that all chasers are onside. And then it's Williami. The question Robert Hicks asked was, did St Helens manage to ground the ball first? Well, it looks like we've both got a hand on it at the same time. And the other thing that comes in here is if it is a simultaneous grounding, both players at the same time, then the try will stand. Is anybody in possession? Well, I think Williami looks like he's in possession. I think that's good enough. There's nothing there to say that it isn't a try. Nothing to overrule the referee's on-field decision. He's in possession of it, and he's grounded the ball.
Doesn't he do well to catch it with two hands? Well, the pressure from Morgan, but he's still got two hands on that ball for me.
He's certainly got the left hand on it behind, and he's got fingertips on the right.
Ben Thaler's not convinced just yet. Try on the field has been given.
I don't think he loses possession here, Stuart.
I don't think so. I think there's nothing there to suggest that this try shouldn't be awarded. I think he's got downward pressure on the ball there. Seems to be in possession. You can't see any separation on anything. I think this try should be awarded.
Be a big plus for Catalan if this is awarded.
Well, it's short, but the momentum will take him home.
Yeah, it's on the line when he gets there.
That's definitely on the line, that. And, you know, you look at the way the game's gone in the opening 30 minutes. We've been talking about Saints and how good Saints are.
He doesn't want to give it though, does he? The video referee.
Well, they're only
He's still trying to give it. He's trying to find some evidence to disallow this try.
There's not a problem with this. They're only 10 points behind. We've been talking all about Saints. This has given them a lifeline. This will give them a bit of confidence.
You can see why.
You'd give it, Stuart, would you?
You see why it's been handed up, because the ball made an enormous bounce, didn't it?
Well, I've given it a while ago. There's nothing there to overturn the referee's on-field decision. He's awarded the try.
And will Ben Thaler agree with him? And the answer is yes, he will. And Catalan are right back in this match. And their brave supporters who have made the long journey from the south of France to St Helens have something to smile about, and so too does Braden Williami, because that's his second try inside a week.
Well, they get a penalty at the right end of the field. It's Braden Williami that's taken off by Danny Richardson. And this is a good kick from Drinkwater. I thought he was exceptional last week, scoring 16 of the 25 points, Josh Drinkwater. And the Fijian international, Braden Williami, does ever so well to keep hold of that ball under the pressure from Morgan. Important kick here from Drinkwater.
It is. Josh Drinkwater kicked 6 successful kicks and got 16 points on his debut against Hull last week. But he has not got that with the first one. He's not got 2 points here. 10-4.
Well, this is the third try now we've seen. All three have had a kick in it somewhere. They call this game rugby football. You understand it's not just about passing it. But to break through the line here, I think it's a try as well. The Saints fans might disagree with me, but they'd be disappointed that he's not had the extra 2 points. Happy with the try. But when you consider the number of penalties they've conceded, 10-4 is not a bad result.
No, I think Steve McNamara will be happy with the scoreline. Certainly not beyond them at only a 6-point lead.
Drop that, Maria.
He won't be happy with that.
Those are the aspects of the game that let a side that struggles down, and Catalan Dragons, for the majority of the year, have got those things wrong. No grip on the ball. It hits and takes a little knee or Quite simply, he loses grasp. He's trapped that ball between his hand and his forearm, greasy forearm. It's come out of his grasp, and he can blame nobody but himself.
Do the rules not say you can drop or place the ball?
The laws do actually say that, yes.
So, you know, we need to revise our rules, and we're not playing to the rules at present.
Well, he didn't drop that, Phil. He fumbled it.
Well, that's a drop, isn't it? He dropped the ball.
Well, that's a knock-on then.
If it goes forward.
Have you been studying the book this week?
I just wish we played to the rules or changed them.
Well, don't be silly. Here is Morgan Knowles. Well, he's played to the whistle, he's played to the rules, he's played to the crowd, and he's got the 4 points. Morgan Knowles. And Anthony Maria's mistake is punished by Morgan Knowles. Well, much happier here tonight than he was in Perpignan, I'm sure, when he was sent off. He picked up a 4-match ban after that. Here he's got his first try of 2018 as the Welsh international.
Well, just as Catalan Dragons try and eke their way back into this game, they make an early mistake. It's a great line, but you have to say the defenders weren't ready. The defensive line was retreating, unsighted, and that player, who, as you've mentioned, Eddie, received a red card, will want to show his teammates, look, I'm sorry for that.
It's a poor tackle from Tony Zigo. Tony Zigo's expecting the ball to go out wide, and that man, I think he's a tremendous talent. Morgan Knowles plays well above his weight, knew exactly where and how to get to that try line.
And you know, only James Roby and Alex Walmsley have made more tackles than Morgan Knowles this year, and he's had 4 matches out with the ban, so he is a great prospect at 21. So is this fellow, Danny Richardson, same age, the top point scorer in the game. He's added 2 more to the Saints' total, 16-4.
I think he's what's called in the trade, Eddie, as a goer. Look at this, he goes out, good step off his left, he gets rid of Tony Zigo with a big see you later. Still got Betteri and Greg Bird to beat as well.
He'd be disappointed with himself because he knows he wasn't in position. He didn't show enough urgency to get back, but that man did. And it's, for me, we're on the verge of bringing Great Britain back. Great Britain is made for players like that. Morgan Knowles nailed his colours to the mast for Wales, just the same as players like Brad Singleton for Ireland. They can represent the home countries and still represent Great Britain on the wider stage.
Farge underneath the kick-off. Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook with the first run. Coming up to 5 minutes before half-time.
I'm disappointed to concede that try, just so short of time, really. Here it goes, Morgan Knowles again. He's picking up Benjamin Julian. And it's a strong carry, strong charge from him.
Well, our apologies if you picked up any foul language during the build-up to the conversion attempt. This is Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook again. Roby into centre field. Richardson tries to slide the kick over the far touchline, but Broughton will bring it back. Jody Broughton, he needs a couple of tries, does Jody, for 100 in Super League. He got a 4-try haul here to equal the Catalan Dragons club record in a 30-12 win in 2016, did Jody Broughton.
Well, Dragons will look to up the tempo here, support the teammates, make sure they don't concede another try. Leading into the break, and Samoa gets an offload away. Again, you can see his teammates just looking around, thinking that he's going to go down, play the ball quickly. That's someone with X-factor, Tony Zigo.
He steps over Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook. There's Maria again. Looking to make amends for the error that led to the last try. Zigo once more, but on the receiving end of a forward pass.
Well, involved in the play before. When he steps over the Saints player, he's looking to get a penalty. There's a forward pass in there, and Tony Zigo is so versatile. You can see from Alex da Costa, whose delivery has not been what it should be in this game.
They've been unbelievably lucky here, the Dragons. They've played really poorly in this first half, and they're still only 12 behind. Is that now the 7th penalty that they've conceded to allow St Helens out to the half in less than 40 minutes? They can only get better, so they're still in the contest, but they are killing their own chances here now the longer the game goes on, unless they can dramatically improve with the simple basics.
Well, he knew it was not going to be an easy ride when he moved into Perpignan last year. Steve McNamara, the former Bradford Bulls and England national coach. And he talks about a work in progress. They survived by the skin of their teeth last year, condemning Lee to relegation in the £1 million match. They don't want to go through all that again in 2018 if they possibly can avoid it. Second bottom of the table, only Huddersfield below them at the moment. So a long road ahead, a long summer ahead for the Catalan Dragons. That's a nice ball wide from Lomax to Regan Grace. Lange gets the tackle in. I think that was a drop goal attempt there from Richardson.
Right.
Not the best.
About 3 metres high from Danny Richardson.
Hang on.
Off target, it's a bit too low.
3 metres, okay.
Wait,
4 metres. Maybe 4.5.
0. Move, Luke. Hold me, hold.
But that's what happens when they're in such a confident mood. There is no risk to everything. They can try what they want, and within reason, if it doesn't come off, they'll defend that next set.
Thierry carts the ball forward. Peyrou's putting himself about, and Ryan Morgan helping out as well. He's really, this year, Dominic Peyrou, he's found himself, hasn't he? He's found his form in 2018.
And so has Ryan Morgan as well, over on that right side. They've had a lot of defending to do. They're still pretty sharp with the ball, but when it comes to defending, they rarely get it wrong.
Percival and Farge dealing with the threat from Julien.
Hold. Go.
Lange at dummy half into Drinkwater. Looks for the runner again. No way he could get that ball clear this time, though. Jason Bethierry. Here is Lange attacking the line. Julien trying to go inside. Theo Farge. Good defence from Saints. Did the Catalan hear the call? Maybe not. That's the turnover.
Well, you think that you get Saints sometimes. You think there's some space on the inside of defenders. And Saints don't like getting beat on the inside. That's a goal for them as a team. If they're looking to get beat on the inside, whether it be a weak inside shoulder, always the man next to you comes in and supports. Some dominant tackles here from Catalan.
Yeah, but that was great work from Makinson to get the ball away. And here's another penalty that their indiscipline cost them dearly.
Eddie, it's within 20 metres of Saints line. When you get them, you get excited. You want to defend. Luke Douglas lands on his front, breaks free from that tackle. It's just that second effort. The discipline that you've got to show in that area is everything.
Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook, well, he shoved Julian away with a hand in the face. Struggling to get away from Anthony Maria. Appealing to the referee, should have had a penalty. This is Luke Douglas. There's the half-time siren. Justin Holbrook doesn't look 100% convinced that that was a brilliant first half from his team. And I'm sure that Steve McNamara is thinking likewise. Lomax is trying 10 minutes, 6-0. Makinson's try 13 minutes, 10-0. St Helens were coasting. Then Catalan had a series of penalties and a little bit of possession near the St Helens line. Braden Williami got their first try. It was 10-4 after half an hour. Was a comeback on the cards? Well, if it was quickly snuffed out by Morgan Knowles. 7 minutes from half-time. Richardson added his second goal, 16-4 to Saints at the break.
Brown misses him. Going over the top.
Oh, I love a real fire. The crackle of the flames, the whiff of wood smoke.
Terrify a friend for free. 2-for-1 entry to Alton Towers with promo packs of Pepperami.
Come on, what are you made of?
I know a place and we'll take you there.
What if you could book your flight, hotel, activities, and car rental all in one place? Expedia are the travel experts who give you the world in your hands.
We've got everywhere to go.
So you can see more of it. Expedia. Everything you need, all in one place. Atoll protected.
Mom! What's with it? No.
Water. Just water.
You wouldn't feed your kids just water, so why starve your plants? Feed them with Miracle Grow to give them the nutrients they need to grow healthier and twice as big. Plants need love and Miracle Grow.
Introducing the Hive View Smart Indoor Camera. Live stream to your phone in HD with motion, sound and person detection. Search Hive to discover more.
Barstore's triple discount sale ends Bank Holiday Monday. Save up to 50%, get an extra 10% off plus a further 10% off too. Pay nothing until 2019. Go in-store or online.
Isn't it time for a real conversation about your insurance? At NFU Mutual, our dedicated agents in 300 local offices and UK call centres take the time to talk things through. These real conversations help you cover the things that really matter and help us to pay out on 98% of claims, no quibble. To start a real conversation about your insurance, call NFU Mutual.
It's a noisy, chaotic, confusing world. If only everyone could see it more clearly. Separate fake from fact. If only we all understood what's really going on. The world needs another Economist reader. And now you can try The Economist absolutely free of charge. Text FREE1 to 78070.
There's a new day dawning.
Can Cardiff secure promotion on the final day? Cardiff v Reading, live on Sky Sports Football.
Sky Arts invites you on a journey.
Here we are in the famous Tate Gallery.
Into the scenes of some of Tate Britain's best-loved paintings.
Oh my God, it's the same!
In the company of some of the nation's most talented celebrities. I do love it. Join Gus Casely-Hayford.
It's just magnificent.
For the brand new series, Tate Britain's Great Art Walks, only on Sky Arts. And if you've missed the start of Tate Britain's Great Art Walks, all of the episodes so far are available now on Catch Up.
That was an absolute wicked kicker.
Tony Bellew pulled off a stunning upset victory last time out. Now he and David Hay clash once again in a hugely anticipated rematch. Will it be repeat or revenge? There's a stacked undercard too on Saturday at 6 p.m. on Sky Sports Box Office. Sky customers, go to channel 491 or Box Office if you want to book this event. For more information on all the ways to watch, go to skysports.com/Bellew Hay 2. Cable customers should contact their relevant operator. Welcome back to the totally wicked stadium at St Helens. There is just 12 points between the sides at half-time, and I say just because there is 16 competition points between top of the table St Helens and Catalan Dragons, who are kept off the bottom of the table by the Huddersfield Giants. 3 tries to 1 at half-time. The game, John Wells, started in the pattern of the way that we would have expected it to do. St Helens with plenty of early chances on their left edge, not converting them, but scoring first in the game.
Yeah, Johnny Lomax looking like he's never been away from the full-back position. He's a natural there, and he's unlucky in many ways, isn't he, that he's not able to continue his career in his favoured position because of Ben Barber. Great piece of interplay between wing and full-back. Makinson's added once again a massive input into all the good stuff that St Helens do.
Provider turned scorer not long after that.
Yeah, great. We're going to have a closer look at that as well in our piece of analysis in just a couple of minutes. Great player.
Now, half-hour mark, Braden Williami goes over for his second try of the season. Catalan Dragons with a chance until they let that pretty sloppy try in.
Yeah, I think that'll be the most disappointing aspect from Steve McNamara's point of view, because they get themselves back in the game with a really well-worked try just to concede softly before the interval.
What are we looking at here? Are we looking at a St Helens side yet to click up a gear, or are they facing a much improved, a gradually improving Catalan Dragons team?
I think a bit of both. Obviously they missed Barber, there's no two ways about that, and I'll make that the last time I make reference to him today. I think the Catalan Dragons will do well and will improve in the second half if they concentrate on just a couple of things.
Right, okay, if there is to be a comeback, you're going to look at the first 2 tries. They came from kicks, but there's a couple of details that you feel may be pertinent should a comeback arise.
And listen, that's the operative word. They arrive here with a little more confidence, let's say, than they have done in recent weeks. The detail. The devil is in the detail, and the detail is what's undone them. Have a look at Tony Gigot at fullback. Now, he's just called Greg Bird back for the previous play. This side, he's now making his way late across. Because of this play, Greg Bird's involved again. He's going to come off 3rd tackle. Now, you can see here, Tony Gigot is calling him this side. I think that's the mistake. Now, listen, he's got very little time to assess this, but a good fullback will look at this and he'll see 2 things. He'll see, first of all, your primary indicator. Second of all, not much doing this bottom side of the field. And third, and this is the more difficult one, you've got these 2 players here. You know that Kyler Moore is going to try and get in here and isolate this man, because the entire play, everything boils down to getting this playmaker here on this playmaker there. And that's how it unfolds.
Okay,
and unfortunately,
on Drinkwater we're looking
that's
at
it.
here.
And unfortunately, they send Greg Bird the wrong way, because Gigo's defending numbers and space, where sometimes the higher skill is to look at the threat and the indicator, and the indicator was Lomax. Now, because of Amor's line here, everything pans out really well for them. He holds Anderson, and at this point, you've got exactly what they wanted to do. You've got Drinkwater set on his heels, and you've got the overlap, the natural overlap. That ends in a clean break for St Helens. Nice piece of reactionary play from Tommy Makinson.
Beautiful touch.
Yeah, hasn't he been an outstanding player in this first half? Second thing, work on the last tackle, details, last tackle options, pressure on the kicker. Dominant play from Thompson. He's been exceptional for the Catalan Dragons this year as well. That's not a set marker. These guys have had to stay up late because of the threat of the ball carrier. Look, have a look at how much time the kicker Richardson gets on it. 1, 2 full seconds on that.
Okay, kick's gone up. You would argue that they should have put more pressure on Danny Richardson, rush his kick. I watched Jody Broughton retreat back into the in-goal area to give himself a chance of running. We got an onrushing Tommy Makinson. Broughton retreats to come forward. It looks like he does so much well in this. Why does Makinson get the ball in the end?
He's done everything well. He's done everything well. The last decision he had to make was whether he goes for broke here. Now, it's difficult to see, but Jody Broughton is actually a lot higher. He's out-jumped Tommy Makinson, but because he's gone for a safer option catch, he's gone for a breadbasket patch, a higher percentage play for him. It's the wrong time to do it, because you are on your line with the best attacking jumper for a catch in the league against you. Tommy Makinson's decision to go all out and get the arms up is the difference between the try. It's very difficult to criticise Jody Broughton.
Yeah,
because
of course, if it doesn't go the way of Broughton, it's a turn, or St Helens get the ball back. Makinson just a turnover at the other end of the field. So you can understand why Broughton would go for that catch. 10-0, right, John? Catalan Dragons, as I said, just 12 points behind. We're going to get to the St Helens dressing rooms now. Justin Holbrook, in the last few weeks, has been urging his players to be relentless in the second half. What's the first thing you need to see from the Catalan Dragons to stop that onslaught that we expect to come?
Well, the first 5 minutes of this half are crucial for the Catalan Dragons, for their confidence, from if nothing else. They need to get through the first couple of sets without conceding, and that is all the old stories. He'll be talking about putting the foot on the throat of the opposition and stepping up again now, because you're right, they haven't played at anything other than 75%. For Steve McNamara, his whole task now for the Catalan Dragons is, we need to move away, as we did last week in parts, complete our sets, and is key discipline in defence.
Well, they saw themselves within 6 points of St Helens before that Morgan Knowles try. Knowles, of course, red carded in that round 2 game. Steve McNamara has said his side are confident coming into this game. They trail at half time. Have they shown enough in that first 40 minutes to suggest they may upset the Saints? Second half with Eddie and the boys on the way.
Big chase on him, Luke Gay with a drop goal! He has kicked it!
Find all the great deals and pay nothing for 6 months at Curry's PC World. Hurry, for a limited time only, save £50 off the marked price on hundreds of large kitchen appliances. Save up to £200 on selected Sony TVs, like this smart 4K ready Ultra HD HDR TV with a 5-year guarantee, just $1199. And if you buy now, you won't have to pay a penny for 6 months with your plan Flexible credit you control. Apply online or talk to one of us in store today. At Curry's PC World, we help you get it right.
It's a noisy, chaotic, confusing world. If only everyone could see it more clearly. Separate fake from fact. If only we all understood what's really going on. The world needs another Economist reader. And now you can try The Economist absolutely free of charge. Text FREE1 to 78070.
You are getting in shape, Bob. You bet, Ted. And I've just got a loan from Likely Loans. Likely Loans? Yeah, they work hard to accept you, even if you've been turned away elsewhere, no matter what shape you're in. Even me? Yes, Barry, even you. And Likely Loans can tell you straight away if you'll get a loan before you apply. And it doesn't affect your credit score.
At Likely Loans, you could borrow up to £5,000 at 59.9% APR representative. It's quick and you'll get your money the next working day. Apply now at likelyloans.com, whatever financial shape you're in.
Refreshed from Robinsons, made with real fruit and spring water.
The most exciting club competition in world cricket.
Hardly a seat left in here. You ready? Now you better believe it. Wow, what a shot! Oh, he's got him! That was just outstanding.
The best players chase the best prize as the Vivo IPL returns live on Sky Sports Cricket.
Sky News, Prince Harry is engaged to marry Meghan Markle.
The Royal Wedding. Every detail live in Ultra HD with Sky Q.
Them perhaps weave a little bit of magic. The Challenge Cup takes centre stage next week, but then live only on Sky Sports the following week. We have a magical weekend for you. Just look at the lineup over the weekend of May 19th and 20th. First of all, on the Saturday, 3 from the NRL, beginning at 6 a.m. Gold Coast against Newcastle, followed by North Queensland against South Sydney, Melbourne against Manly. Those 3 games live on the Saturday. Then we have the Magic Weekend. From the Betfred Championship, Toronto will play Toulouse to kick the weekend off, followed swiftly by Widnes Saints, Wigan Warrington and Castleford Leeds. A full day of rugby league live on Sky Sports Arena on Saturday, May the 19th. And we follow that up with everything that happens on the Sunday. From the NRL, 2 more. St George Illawarra Canberra at 5 in the morning, Cronulla Canterbury at 7, and then day 2 of the Magic Weekend, Salford Catalan Dragons, Wakefield Huddersfield, and the curtain comes down on it all with Hull KR against Hull FC. The Magic Weekend, 5:15. All those matches available on Sky Sports Arena. Sky Sports, your place for rugby league in 2018 and beyond. Here at St Helens, the Saints are ahead by 16 points to 4 as we prepare to get the second half underway against the Catalan Dragons from Perpignan in the south of France. Josh Drinkwater will kick us off in this second half. 11 to go for the Catalans. Can they overhaul Wakefield and or Salford to claim a top 8 berth and avoid the qualifiers again? Salford at the Magic, as you've just seen, then home against Leeds and Widnes. Then they travel to Huddersfield. A really crucial run of fixtures in Super League for the Catalan Dragons.
Move, Jason. Hold.
Beginning here tonight, and a 12-point lead is not unassailable. If they can cut out the errors that they had in the first half, Catalan have got every chance of repeating history. Remember, the 24th of February 2012, they visited here for the first time and became the first team to win here against St Helens. Saints led by 4 points with 30 seconds to go. Do you remember this? Daryl Millard's try in the corner. Scott DeRoe's touchline conversion won the game. 34-32. It was an absolute thriller. And here tonight, the Catalan Dragons aiming to get back to that sort of form in the back end of 2018.
Well, Saints not at the best in that first half, but still in front on the scoreboard. And Catalan, I wonder if they were talking about in the changing rooms that we were behind last week, 14 points at 8 against Hull, but we still managed to come up with a result. We still snuck the win at the end of the game, and in attack, just give us some more to work off. Yeah, there's enough effort here from the likes of Samo. They'll take the ball forward, but they've got to work as a team.
We're trying to do that here. This is going to be the 5th tackle from Anthony Maria. Came up with a couple of blunders towards the back end of that first half. Plays the ball on halfway to Alrix da Costa. He kicks deep. This will bounce in front of Regan Grace, and Grace will run the ball back for the Saints. Good tackle by Lewis Tini on that far side. Right, half-time news on the way. Here's Bill.
Eddie, Justin Holbrook wants more from his side in the second half, better from his side in the second half. They can certainly be more fluent in attack. That's the big improvement he's looking for. They're getting obviously into some great positions, but not quite clicking as they have been in recent weeks. So looking for better finishing from his side. Defensively, Saints very happy with the way they're going, despite conceding that one try, and that they felt was dubious. Catalan Dragons obviously feel they are very much still in the hunt to score early on in this second half, and they've been scoring early in the second half in their last few games. It's not beyond them, and then that maybe could put the pressure on Saints, so they know they have got to be better in attack, and they've got to stop conceding so many penalties, as Lewis Tini, I think, is bundled into touch, Eddie.
Either that, Bill, or he is tackled in the air. It all depends on the report from the touch judge on that far side.
Escort, yeah, I've got you now. Yeah, I've got you, mate.
Yeah, it's an escort.
Penalty for an escort.
Somebody's taken out, chasing the ball.
Escort.
So penalty to St Helens. Is it a penalty?
Not to St Helens.
To St Helens, yeah.
Running across there.
I think it's an escort, mate.
Well, it's Mark Percival who's impeded by Vince DePaul, who just runs across his path.
I wonder how long it takes to change your habit, because for several years players have been coached to do that. How quick, which one will be the fastest team at taking that out of the game defensively?
Surrender!
I'm not sure you need to get rid of it, you just need to be better at it, running the same direction as your opponent, make it difficult for those players who are trying to pressurise the catcher without giving that penalty away. I don't think you'll ever get rid of it.
Peru will play the ball here to Roby. That was Morgan Knowles, fires the pass to Richardson. Richardson fires Lomax. Lomax goes to Percival. Percival to Regan Grace. It seems to me that every time the Catalan Dragons concede a penalty, that St Helens punish them, and they punish them again. I must say that was, but it looked harsh, the penalty decision, but it was given. And Regan Grace has capitalised with his 6th try of the season. 3 tries in his last 2. That's 4 tries in his last 3 now for Regan Grace.
Well, they're clinical and they'll make you pay. Vince DePaul just runs across the path of Mark Percival. The touch judge straight onto the field to Robert Hicks, awards the penalty, another set of 6. And what Saints do, they're nice and direct, even though they're going and playing with width. All the runners are playing and running as though they're on tram lines, creating space for the man outside. All the passes, clinical, right on the button, and good hands from Percival to just send in Regan Grace.
Makinson over on that right side, Regan Grace over on the left. They're both being serviced by 2 wonderful centres, Ryan Morgan and Mark Percival, who catches that ball, passes it in the same motion, gives the time for the young winger to get in. Starts at dummy half. We've mentioned him quite a few times. James Roby's service is outstanding.
And Richardson had the extras. 20 points to 4. First try of the second half to St Helens. Richardson with the kick. And Richardson just hit the post and went the wrong way. 7 penalties the Catalan Dragons have conceded. They've received only 3. This is the latest one. DePaul runs across the face of Mark Percival. How on earth does Steve McNamara eradicate these penalties from his team's play?
I just think he doesn't need to run across him, you know, run next to him or be a bit quicker, but he can't run.
The thing is, there's only one player. There's only one player facing 3 St Helens attacking players are trying to make it difficult, so Vincent Deport has to try and cover 3 players. The Catalan players show the same urgency, have a different outcome.
Just 4 wins for Steve McNamara from 17 in Super League, 10 wins from 26 coming into this match overall. They lost all 5 away from home this year. They look like they're going to be on the end of a 6th away defeat. They only won 3 away games in Super League last year. They won at Halifax and Hull KR in the qualifiers, then they beat Lee 26-10 at the Sports Village in the £1 million game. But here's Jody Broughton. Is it play on this?
Yes, that's a try.
Great response from the Catalan Dragons then. They get over with Jody Broughton. And he's inching towards that 100 in Super League now. Just on 99, but this is an important try.
Well, it's a wide pass from Zabtea. Danny Richardson feeds the second rower, Dominic Peru. He can't collect that ball, but look at this. Urgency at last from the Catalan Dragons and Jody Broughton. There's not many quicker players in the game of Super League. Jody Broughton gets a quick pass from Drinkwater, in and out, and scores in the corner.
I wonder if St Helens were waiting for a penalty call. It looked like a little shove by Da Costa maybe in the build-up to that, but anyway, it doesn't matter anymore because Broughton's try has been given. And that's good response. A good response from the French team to the opening try from Saints, who have a meeting behind their own line now to try and sort things out.
Well, it's pretty clear that the Catalan aren't playing well either tonight or this season, but they've certainly got a fighting spirit here. They've not given up, and we've got some try scorers there. They've kept themselves alive here with an immediate comeback. This kick from the sideline could be massive. He did 6 from 6 last week. I was disappointed and surprised. In fact, I'd like a second look at the kick in the first half because it looked like it went over to me, but not to the 2 guys with the flags.
Tough kick for Drinkwater this. It's almost from the same place as Scott DeRoe kicked that conversion in 2012 I was talking about. He misses with that one, but went very close, Josh Drinkwater. For 20 points to 8, it's back to a 12-point ball game.
Well, they're always a dangerous side, Catalan, when they throw the ball around. They're feeding off an error here. Give the ball out wide. As soon as Williami gets the ball to Jody Broughton, he does very well to stand up. Louis McCarthy has enough speed to get in at the corner. Maybe just give him a bit of a lifeline.
So Broughton's try has given them hope. When you're ready, Danny. And a long way to go. Plenty of time left in the match for the Dragons. Richardson restarts deep. Gigot underneath it. Here comes Sam Moa. Da Costa goes in a dummy half. The Totally Wicked crowd have just gone slightly quiet because of that quick response from the Dragons. Here he goes again, Da Costa, only as far as Roby. Lewis Tierney now from dummy half.
Well, looking at the bench now, seeing who's going to come on, give an impact. Louis Anderson's got the board as Jason Materi comes up with a run behind the ruck. I'm sure that Steve McNamara is going to be looking at bringing the starting front rows on as well soon.
Well, that's it, Tez. The bloke that's got to get back on the field for me is Michael McAlorum. In defence and attack, his leadership skills, I think they're needed by the Dragons.
That's a medical change for Catalan Dragons. They're holding up the white cross on the green background.
Yeah, it was Greg Bird in the incident where Peru lost the ball before. I think he banged his head on the ground and he was getting some treatment.
So he just needs to be assessed for a quarter of an hour or so. Knock on here by St Helens.
I think Josh Drinkwater's had a real good tug at this ball. Whether the onus is on the ball carrier, we'll have another look at. Percival, sorry. They need a little bit of luck, the Dragons, there's no doubt about that. I think he got it on that call.
Let's get banged. I think you'll have to put that down as a loose carry, Stuart, by looking at that picture.
Well, I think as a referee, you're looking for a pulling motion on the ball. If you see that, you'll give the penalty. If not, then you're going to go with a knock-on.
So that's the way Robert Hicks viewed it, and Catalan will not be unhappy about that because they're back in possession in St Helens territory with Benjamin Julien.
Well, they've got a very limited window of opportunity here to get back in and possibly win this match. This is probably it here now. Not going to get that more opportunities before perhaps St Helens score again, so they have to be the next to score. They're 30 metres or so from their opponent's line here. You've got 6 players. They need some magic from somebody.
Legs came up in that tackle, hence the penalties given. This is Moa to within 20 metres of the St Helens line. Big set of 6 this for the Dragons. As it's taken forward again by Anthony Maria. He gets to within 11 metres of the line. Alrix da Costa waits again. There is Drinkwater. He finds Baitieri. Good hands, but behind the players. Broughton has to retreat and pick up, and look at the ground that they've lost. It was a quick pass. It was a no-look pass. It had to be. They were under pressure. Louis Anderson, solid enough run again. Da Costa into centre field. Baitieri. Drinkwater drops the ball off again. Maria once more. He goes down. Tackle number 5. 12 metres away. Can they get a repeat set at least? No, they can't.
Poor
good kick.
Poor end to the set. Just Drinkwater had flashed round the back on the left. He called the play along with Louis Anderson. It goes to the right-hand side and a bit of a sloppy kick. Considering the field position that they were in and the attack that they had in that set, well, they want another crack at them, and they've got to do better.
Good field position, all wasted. Makinson now. Makinson through the gap. He's lost his feet, and that's fortunate from the Dragons' point of view. Tierney had another go. Will get the penalty. Will St Helens.
Well, really hurting them in the penalties that they think they have them, and all of a sudden you've got to expect the unexpected from Saints. And when they get through here like Tommy Makinson does, again he's fighting to try and get up, play the ball. There's interference from Lewis Tierney.
He looks frustrated, doesn't he, Steve McNamara?
Last play he calls on that. He knows that had his side defended that, he would have got possession
That
back.
ball's come out again. This time he's given the penalty.
Josh. That's exactly the same as
I think
the previous one.
I think that when that tackle was completed, the hit, the ball spills out. Just watch when it just pulls out quickly. So I think you can tell that that's been tugged away. It comes out of the tackle.
Too many penalties coming in and around that ruck area. I'll give you a chance
They
to
are
sort it out.
desperate at the
Have a
minute,
word with them.
Catalan Dragons, so that they're going to take chances. That's an illegal strip of the ball.
And Robert Hicks says he will give the Catalan Dragons a chance to clean things up at the Rock. Another one, and there might just be a team warning or worse.
Anthony on
St
those
Helens
calls.
are 18 metres away. Richardson gets away from Sam Moa, despite hitting the deck. Gets the ball to Zeb Taylor.
He's beat a lot of players tonight, Danny Richardson. His footwork, he's been sharp.
Here he is again on the ball.
And
Gives it this time to Farge. McCarthy Scarsbrook fires the ball back to Richardson. He goes left and finds Taylor again. Lange, Duport, Tierney deal with the threat. 10 metres away, far out on the left-hand side. Roby to Richardson. Richardson to Farge. Farge looks for the runners. Lomax. Here's Morgan Knowles. Morgan Knowles grounded on tackle number 4, 5 metres away. Morgan to Farge. This is Wilkin. Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook gives it back to Richardson. Richardson goes wide to Taylor. Taylor finds Percival. He skips inside a couple. So dangerous, Mark Percival. Good on his feet, can leave defenders trailing in his wake. They got back though and stopped him then. Richardson now with a crossfield kick, looking for Makinson again. Oh, it goes over the heads of everybody. Picked up by Broughton. Broughton gets out of trouble, does he? Yes, just.
Well, does well, doesn't he, William, to recover from that situation then when they kick the ball over here. Now he's been under pressure, Jody Broughton, and Jody Broughton's beating the ball, beats him, and then all of a sudden Braden Williami comes up and saves the day.
It was a great point John Wells made at half-time about the catch of Jody Broughton. On that occasion, he gets his arms outstretched. He's not good enough to catch the ball at first attempt. But Catalan Dragons were good enough to pick up the scraps and deal with the threat.
Da Costa will play the ball there to Drinkwater. Kick from Gigot goes high in the air and right down the middle. Regan Grace. Ooh, he had to change his step and his direction. Then he got away with it. The ball went backwards.
Do you know, I reckon if there's any anxiety, it must be growing slightly in the St Helens coaching camp, because the longer the game goes on with just a 12-point margin, more pressure the side are under. They obviously look like they're the better team and they're going to score next, but you're never guaranteed in a game like this. You want to ease the nerves by making sure that they extend this lead pretty soon.
Zentair takes it forward to the 40-metre line. Plays the ball to Roby. Wilkin. Halted by Remy Casty's challenge. Roby waits. Will have a run himself, James Roby. Leofarge was hunting the pass on his left shoulder. It never came, couldn't. Richardson, high again. And Broughton this time collects it safely. Right, don't forget we have NRL action for you this Saturday at 6 in the morning. Canberra against the Gold Coast, one of 3 that's coming at you on Saturday live from the NRL. Then it's the New Zealand Warriors against West Tigers at 8:25. And we follow that with match number 3, Cronulla and Parramatta, 10:30. All of those games, Sky Sports Arena this Saturday morning. Louis Anderson tries to go inside Morgan Knowles. Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook in there to help out. Gigot, invention from Gigot, taken out as he went to chase the ball, but nothing wrong with it according to Robert Hicks. Gigot certainly hit the deck. This is Lomax.
I don't think the Saints player needed to move out the way, and he kicks the ball over, and you can just see that the Saints player, Luke Douglas, just turns his back, doesn't step into it. That's the reason why the referee, Robert Hicks, didn't award the penalty.
Roby. Looks like he got blood from his right eye there, James Roby.
Always a dangerous sign when he runs from dummy half. That means the battle of the ruck is going in Saints' favour.
Thompson's returned. A little bit of blood on the temple of James Roby. Lomax's pass is a little wayward. Well picked up, though, by Regan Grace, and he, in turn, is picked up by Vincent Duport, who pleads innocence to the referee while the crowd get on his back. Lomax goes high. Nobody chasing, so they have the luxury of allowing the ball to bounce. Gigot.
It was a hit and hope from St Helens, just hitting a flat patch. Not far away from the last quarter of this game. Catalan Dragons are nowhere near their opposition's try line. They don't look like they're causing any threats in defence, and players like Tony Gigot chipping over the top and not getting that ball only adds a little bit more confidence to the mentality of St Helens, because they'll look at it and they'll think they can't break us down. They're resorting to the chip and chase tactic, but Michael McAlorum is back on the field for the Catalan Dragons.
And they get a penalty.
That's all right, don't worry.
It's anything but the 12-try thriller we saw when Catalan were last here in July. 7 tries for Saints that night. Mark Percival, 9 goals and a try for 22 points himself. The Dragons were in the contest until the last 7 minutes. Then Saints ran in 3 of those 7 tries. Here tonight, it's 12 points. It's an arm wrestle, you would call it. And Catalan still in the hunt, despite being outplayed for long periods of the game, but they're still here, they're still battling.
Well, they won't go away, and they're very workmanlike. As I said before, there's not one of the players not giving effort. It's just what they do with the effort. Michael McAlorum, then he's getting out from dummy half. He's trying to get the first man. He thought there was a penalty going to be coming from that play.
Yeah, he looked at Robert Hicks, it wasn't coming. Lange looks on his inside for Julien, but he's lost the ball.
Come by Benjamin Julien.
Penalties, errors.
And that was a telegraph play. Lange doesn't fix anybody up. He doesn't draw any defenders. There's actually 2 defenders hit Benjamin Julien as he catches that ball.
Julien made the trip home from Warrington. He missed the cup win at York, a 1-match ban after the St Helens game in February for a poor tackle. Off comes Roby.
Matty Smith has replaced him. He won't lose anything in that interchange. James Roby. Quite a few of the tries that have been scored by Saints have had the first pass, the pass from dummy half, dealt with by James Roby, and his accuracy and the directness of those spin passes give the players and the people that are catching them half a chance.
Mark Percival here for the Saints. McCarthy-Scarsbrook again. 36th consecutive appearance for LMS tonight. And the penalty for him. Anderson wouldn't let him get to his feet.
You're on a warning,
and they're on a warning now. He did warn them quietly, and they were told to clean up the act around the ruck, and there it is, the ball comes out.
Well, it was going to come sooner than later, wasn't it? There's a deep kick here from Richardson. LMS earns the penalty. I thought he was very good last week. In just 32 minutes, he made 162 metres. He was phenomenal. He's just come off the field.
He's taking a well-deserved breather. And the Catalan Dragons, remember, on a warning now, so next offence at the ruck or any penalty, possibility of a trip to the sin bin as Julian gets to Regan Grace. There's Matty Smith. Wilkin to Thompson. Thompson plays the ball to Smith. Richardson, short ball. Wilkins skips through one, gets the ball back, and Amor. Forward pass, was it?
Forward pass. It was a line from John Wilkin, really sharp line. He collects that ball from Danny Richardson. Yeah, that's forward.
Do you know, he hits good lines, very hard lines. Well, comes back against the grain, tries to get a weak shoulder when the man is sliding out to the side. Louis Anderson misses that. He lines up outside of Louis Anderson, comes back on his inside.
I think we have some news of Greg Bird. We saw him go off for a head test. Bill?
Yeah, he's come through that head test. He's okay to come back on, and they're hoping to get him back on the pitch very shortly. There he is, sitting on the sidelines. He has had one or two bangs on the head as Greg Bird just in recent weeks. This is how he picked up his latest one, that collision with Dominic Peyrou. Picked up one against Hull FC last week, and they obviously are being careful, as they are in the case of Paul Ayton, just while you're with me, because I understand that Paul Ayton had a CT scan last weekend, having had a number of concussions, and club decided it was time for a check, and all thankfully was found to be okay for Paul Ayton, who is sitting this one out.
Thanks, Bill, as the Catalan Dragons get a penalty here for interference in the ruck now by St Helens. Zeb Taylor all over him, along with a bit of help from Matty Smith. So Catalan Dragons get their 6th penalty of the match. And here they come with Julien Busquet.
Well, they've offloaded the ball a lot this year, the Dragons, but they've been ineffective in many of those offloads. If they can get their arms free, they need some quick players around the ball if they can keep hold of it. They don't need an element of luck to score in this set, but it could make the home side nervous if they can find a way across the line.
Cherry to his feet, McIlorm at dummy half. Casti, Drinkwater, Anderson, that's Williami. He releases the ball. Zigo is well watched though. Good defence by Tommy Makinson. Drinkwater again. Busquet dumps the ball down. Casti, Remy Casti making love. Oh wow.
Doubled over Remy Casti.
Can he get to his feet and play this ball?
Trying to get up.
Do you know, look at the pain in Remy Casti's face, and his first instinct is, I'm going to get up, I'm going to play the ball. We're in good field position here. Look at this. Gets bent over, doubled over.
That looks nasty.
Caught underneath John Wilkin.
Ankle, knee, all stretched to the limit there.
Say, Eddie, his first reaction was, I've got to get up and play this ball.
Tackle 5, Remy, here, please.
Well, he had the full weight of John Wilkin on his lower leg. The knee must have been twisted, the ankle.
On the goal line, Luke! Luke! Okay,
and look, it's him who's going to play the ball here. And, well, I think he bounced that ball down.
It's lost over the line.
Tony Zigo tried to convince the referee that it was a try from Anderson, but he's up to it. Is Robert Hicks, he saw this. It's out. Comes out, no doubt.
Well, the effort from Ryan Morgan and Louis Anderson, the little short pass from McLaurin as he's going over the line.
Surrender!
Well, they may not be big, effective players, but they're still not giving up hope in this game. So with 19 minutes to go, one try for Catalan, and that'll certainly get some confidence into the side.
Catalan Dragons have just made a change. Bacheri has come off, but look who's still on there. It's Remy Casti who is there. He is still on the field. He's limping a bit. He's struggling with that stretched knee or bent ankle, one of the two.
Well, he's a Trojan, isn't he? He played in the 2007 Challenge Cup final at Wembley along with Vince DePaul. They've had some good times, but they're going through a tough patch at the minute.
Amor was grounded by McAlorum. This is Richardson away from 2. A dab, and that ball was played at 6 to go. Here Smith. Smith gives it to Farge. Farge gives it to Teya. Catalan muscling up in defence again. Greg Bird is back out there to help. Farge, Richardson. Richardson finds Wilkin. Wilkin heads for the line, and he's halted by Casti and Bousquet. Needless to say, Casti's a little slow in getting off the grounded player. Lomax with the ball to Makinson. Gigot had a little tug at that. It's still Makinson. It's still Tommy Makinson. Lateral run from Makinson. He's beaten just about every one of them.
He wants to play left wing, Eddie. I think that's what he's telling the coach.
He won't stop until he beats all 13 players.
Oh, good ball, Wilkin.
Good tackle.
Good tackle, but a try, I think, from Gigot. Or was the tackle completed? The tackle from Gigot.
Mate, I have no try.
You've got no try for the field. He just wants to check that he read it right.
Well, he wants to see whether the tackle was complete or whether there was momentum in the tackle where he could continue and ground the ball over the line. It's John Wilkin there. Well, it certainly looks like he's got his arms free, but does the ball carrying arm hit the ground first time? There. And there. And then the third time. So this will be confirmed as no try, and it should be a penalty for a double movement.
You know, big players win your games and keep you in games as well. I think this is a big play from Tony Gigot. That's a brilliant effort.
It's an outstanding tackle, isn't it, to keep his team's hope alive here.
Isn't that where the tackle's complete?
Well, it's
the momentum's still going, but I mean, you can definitely say the tackle's complete there. The ball carrying arms hit the ground, and then it goes again.
It's a triple movement.
It's a triple movement.
So 2 penalties then.
They need it to get to the other end of the field. There's an injury for Braden Williami, which would be a concern as well. No try, the referee indicates.
Tries disallowed. John Wilkin, well, only Roby's made more tackles than him. And he's only scored 1 try this year, has John Wilkin, but Williami here has obviously got problems with a bloody nose.
Well, Rob Parker...
Clash of heads with Johnny Lomax, yes it is.
That's right. Rob Parker, the physio for the Catalan Dragons, has had his hands full over the last couple of minutes. Remy Casti has finally had to leave the field. He succumbed to that knee, stroke, ankle injury, and Braden Williami...
Well, off he goes. And off he goes. So there's a couple of problems there for the Catalan Dragons. Tomorrow night, let's hope there's no problems for Leeds and Warrington. 7:30 Sky Sports Arena from the Betfred Super League. The champions against the informed team in the competition.
Doesn't help you when you lose your centre. Braden Williami. Lange looks like he's gone into the left centre. Greg Bird will probably go into the half-back role.
This is Bousquet meanwhile. 16 minutes remaining. It's only 12 points the difference between the two sides. McIlorum. Lettieri again. Halted by Smith and Thompson.
Go for.
Here's Drinkwater. Drinkwater gets the ball away. Morgan was very quickly in to make the tackle there. No way through for Gigot. McIlorum finds Drinkwater. Drinkwater up in the air. Oh, and a mess between Percival and Regan Grace. Knock on here. So this is going to be a free play, if nothing else. Well, they'll come back for the scrum.
As soon as that ball goes up, Eddie, Regan Grace, he's behind. He's the last man at the bat, and no communication. He didn't look confident when he was going forward for that ball. Mark Percival thought he had it. Didn't know where his wing partner was. And he comes in and more or less dislodges it from Percival.
Nearly that time of the match again where we ask you to vote up for the man of the match on the Our League app on your mobile devices. You can log yourselves in. Well, tonight, for a change, Ben Barber will not be going home.
You think he still might get a vote?
I'm sure he might. He might well get a vote. They say sometimes, you know, you play your best games when you're not actually on the field. They know how much you missed.
That was just him at the side of me. I think Danny Richardson, there's been some eye-catching performances, but Danny Richardson has showed a level of maturity, been involved in the game. He's done some tough stuff defensively, been involved in the game in the crucial parts, and he's controlling it as any good 7 does do.
Drinkwater, Bird, and Gigo. Wide they go. Tierney, it went behind him. And that gave Theo Farge and company the time to come across and cut him down. McIlaurin down the short side again. Gigo once more. Maria back to Gigo. Looking for the opening in this defence. Gives it to Anderson. Anderson out the back door. Drinkwater. Here's Baccieri. Baccieri gets it back to Greg Bird.
Look at that for defence. That is perfect defence. Nobody jumped out. Nobody panicked.
Drinkwater. Lange. No, the Saints defence is standing firm. Best attack, best defence in the competition. You can see why. Drinkwater with a crossfield kick. And it is picked up on the bounce by Theo Farge.
Can't break them down by moving the ball around. Next best thing on the last play is try and kick it into the corner, but Mark Percival goes up and just taps the ball back to his teammate.
That's good defence, with the referee now shouted held.
Well, just wasn't crisp enough, was it? The ball from Gigo, the flair that he does have in attack, just couldn't get that quite right though. And there's Steve McNamara's reaction.
What happened there, I think I'm liberating. We went behind your man, Steve, that's what happened. Percival grounded 40 metres out. He's getting a bit frustrated with the...
That's just crazy from Duke
on the floor.
He's no reason to do that. And the worst that's going to happen is he's going to earn or give a penalty away against his side.
And he'll end up in the sin bin unless Robert Hicks thinks they've cleaned their act up since they gave them the team warning.
It's a good kick. Very good kick, isn't it, Eddie, there? Just to trap him in the corner. Took his time. You can see the infringement there. But...
There was the use of the knees, wasn't there?
But I suppose it would have meant probably a sin bin, wouldn't it? If he penalised him there, it had to be a sin bin. So the referee seemed reluctant.
I think it's probably Mark Percival's actions. He seemed to find the floor very quickly, which has probably given Robert Hicks a reason not to give him the penalty.
Well, they've scored 5 long-range tries this year, the Catalan Dragons. You don't envisage one here tonight because the Saints seem to be a much quicker team than them, but they're going to have to take some risks here now if they want to win this match. They're doing that now with Drinkwater.
Hasn't had as much involvement in this game as last week.
Red Bird with the kick straight into the arms of Lomax, who tells Regan Grace to come back on his inside.
Trying to strip that ball then, Lewis Tierney. And the penalties they give away, the missed tackles that they've made, 32 missed tackles in this game, 45 last week. And I did say at the start of the game that if they miss so many tackles, it's going to be difficult. But again, with 12 minutes to go, just 12 points behind. Rolling forward with John Wilkin. Comes up with a strong carry, picking Brusky out. Offloads the ball.
Matty Smith, he finds Richardson. This is Peyrou. Dominic Peyrou. In the end, Louis Anderson gets to him. Smith and Wilkin. And Farge, clattered after the ball then. Lomax, Percival, down the line, Percival, Regan Grace. Regan Grace over for his second try of the match. And will probably wrap up the points now, well and truly for the Saints. And the young supporters watching that young man go in for his second try. Justin Holbrook on the way to his 23rd win from this, his 32nd match in charge. Regan Grace with his second try.
Well, dangerous. Nice ball from Theo Farge. Little turn-up play. Mark Percival, unselfish player, goes straight at Tony Gigo, keeps him honest in defence. He knows that where his winger is in Regan Grace. Turn-up play, out wide, look at this. Comes off, puts all his weight on the inside foot and creates that try. And that's the difference, Eddie. Even when they're under pressure in defence, they still manage to get those clean passes away.
It looks like they're playing touch and pass, doesn't it? They're taking it to the defender, not allowing a tackle to be made, or indeed the attacker to be touched. Slick hands, right on the money. They're such a skillful side, but it's the speed that gets them out of trouble.
Well, the voting is open. for the Betfred Man of the Match via the Our League app. And there are 4 candidates. I can tell you each and every one of them are in the black jerseys of St Helens tonight. And just having a look, one man is way out in front. As Richardson lines up this conversion, kicks it this time, 26 points to 8, 10 minutes to go. Saints have got the match won. It's a question now of which of their 4 stars that have been chosen by a former legend of the game will go home with the Man of the Match award. Tommy Makinson, Louis McCarthy, Scarsbrook, Johnny Lomax and Zeb Taylor are the men, and the vote is open and will be for the next 8.5 minutes or so. And at the moment, Tommy Makinson is leading by a mile.
Who would you vote for, Eddie?
Tommy Makinson. I have voted for Tommy Makinson. I have the app. How I got it, I don't know.
Stop messing with your phone during the game, Eddie.
This is Thompson.
Well, it's been an average, I suppose, performance, I would say. It's brilliant in defence, pretty below par, really, I would say, in attack. But the supporters here now want a strong 10 minutes to finish this match. Perhaps another try or two, really, just to show off the class they've had. They've moved the ball around a bit. Regan Grace has had some chances, but I think they'd love a really good try here now in the dying midst of this match. Is this it from Richardson?
Richardson with a little dab over the top. Shigo watched it all the way. Of course, the significance of this match tonight for Saints is that they've opened up the 4-point lead now at the top of the table. Wigan will play tomorrow night. Try and close the gap. We'll be able to keep you in touch with their match while we are watching Leeds and Warrington from Headingley. The Saints will be 4 points clear tonight, and that will look good. Leeds Warrington tomorrow night, 7:30. Sky Sports Arena is the channel for that one. There's McAlorum. Finds Gigo, finds Batieri. Oh, good break. Sam Moa. Lomax against Moore is a mismatch in terms of weight. It's 6 to go. Back to 1. And Louis Anderson manages to knock the ball back with his foot, so it's still 1. Gigo again here. Well, there doesn't seem to be much support for Gigo. Is there any more support here for Vincent Duport?
Well, when he's going across the line, all his teammates are more or less walking backwards. They're not offering themselves.
Maria gets to within a couple of metres of the line. McAlorum goes to the line himself. He's held up by good defence.
Good work from John Wilk. He knew exactly what he was going to do then. The old Warriors have played against each other a few times.
Drinkwater to Anderson again. Anderson doesn't release the pass. They're very flat, Catalan. Very flat across the field. There's no depth to the attack. Bird, short ball. Julien. Dealt with by the Saints defence again. McAlorum wide. Tierney keeps it going. There's a knock on by Duport.
Look at the pressing defence from St Helens. You can't not be impressed by a team that plays 73 minutes, and according to our stats, only 7 missed tackles. They've not played it safe. They've got up, they've pressed and pressured everything that Catalan have done.
I'm impressed with the defence, Barry, but when Julian got that ball, if it goes out the back, there's a 3-on-1. That's called vision, That's something that they haven't shown in this game. Over the years, when we've tuned in and we've watched Catalan, they've scored some tremendous tries, and maybe when you're at the bottom end of the table, there is a lack of confidence. It's all about completing your sets, not giving penalties away, which they have done in this game.
Go. Douglas plays the ball to Smith. And before he says the forward pass was made by Luke Douglas.
A couple of times in this game, the ball from dummy half has just gone forward. And it was from Smith to Fage. When you know you play against Saints, especially this year, you've got to score some points. Saints haven't scored less than 20 points in all the games that they've played this year. They're a settled side. They've used just 21 players in 14 games. You've got to give credit to the medical staff. The head of strength and conditioning, Matty Daniels, has done a tremendous job getting them prepared time after time for these big games, because at the minute, the likes of Saints and Wigan at the top, everyone wants to beat them. They're raising the levels.
Here's Lange for the Dragons. I referenced that win that they got here in 2012, one of only 2 wins on this ground for the Catalan Dragons in their Super League lives. The other April 2016, 30-12 here. Jody Broughton got 4 tries on that occasion. Drinkwater now to Bird. Flick pass from Bird and knocked down by Gigo and knocked on by Gigo, who shows his frustration at the referee's decision and gets himself, or gets his team, another penalty against him.
A lot of frustration within the side now. Mr. Pori was nice and tight to Greg Bird. He didn't get the ball. It goes out to the fullback, Tony Gigo. He is a man who can cause an awful lot of problems. It's not been his night today, and you can see from the frustration here.
His argument is the ball goes backwards, I think, wasn't it? That was his...
That's what he's looking at. I think the touchage on the far side is called that he's actually pulled the ball towards him before he bounces back.
Mistake here from Luke Douglas. He got his foot to the ball as well and knocked it forward.
See, and there's a difference when Gigo makes the mistake or the decision goes against him. He gets up, he throws the ball on the floor. When Luke Douglas does, he just puts his head down, keeps his position, getting ready to form the scrum. And that's that sort of like composure when things go against you. You've got to make sure you keep the marbles right in between the ears and you focus on the next set. Whether it's a defensive set or not, you've got to make sure that you're focused.
Into the last 5 minutes here.
Did I hear you right? You've got marbles in your ears.
What move, Danny? Hold it, Luke. Go.
Anderson. They've tried hard. Here are the votes, as you see. Makinson way ahead in the voting for the Betfred Man of the Match. Louis McCarthy's cars. Johnny Lomax in second place. Zeb Taylor bottom of the pile at the moment, but they've played well tonight. St Helens in patches. Not been at their brilliant best, but they've done enough. Gigo gets the ball away. Lewis Tini, I think, has stretched in for one of the corner. Referee will give this, as he does. Consolation maybe for Lewis Tini and the Catalan Dragons. He made his debut here in a 46-28 defeat last July.
Well, the former Wigan winger will enjoy this. Too many Saints players crowded around the ball, and he just hooks the touchline. The winger gives himself enough space to get over. Too little, too late for the Dragons. Regan Grace, he'll be disappointed with that. He needed to show a little bit more composure and trust in the inside defenders.
Lewis Tini, who had all that success with Wigan, but he got a couple of tries for the Catalan Dragons against Lee in last year's £1 million game. And he was on loan at first at the Dragons, then the deal was made permanent. The conversion attempt from Josh Drinkwater is pulled the wrong side of the posts. There he is, Tierney. Drinkwater, well, he kicked effortlessly and almost faultlessly last week. He's had 3 attempts tonight, he hasn't managed 1. They've been difficult kicks, though, to be fair to him. They've been way, way wide.
And realistically as well, that he's probably not had the platform. There was a lot of talk about the way that he was playing last week, and yeah, he was on debut, yeah, he was excited, playing in front of the home fans. Only had 1 training session with his teammates before he went out and played in the south of France, but tonight's performance, it's been difficult for him because he's not had that go forward and anything really to play off.
Gigo underneath the kickoff. And Anthony Maria inside the last 2 minutes now. 26-12. St Helens have won it, as we knew a wee while ago. And the agony goes on for Steve McNamara and the Catalan Dragons. It was interrupted by the victory at York in the Cup, and last week at home to Hull FC. And they've got a difficult month ahead of them. But the home tie in the Cup next week is manna from heaven for them. Otherwise, they've been travelling across the channel each and every week until around about the back end of the month.
Just a little mention for York Knights, aren't they doing well in their division? 144-0. They were victors in that last game, but big crowds, good atmosphere. York City Knights are doing incredibly well at the minute. Well done to them.
They ran the Dragons close as well in the cup tie, didn't they?
They did.
Have enough.
Yeah, I was there at the Bradford match, the very first game of the season. Over 4,000 fans packed into Bootham Crescent. As I say, incredible atmosphere.
Matty Smith from dummy half. Wilkin gets the ball away to Richardson. He then finds Peyroux. He's playing out the last minute and 20 seconds of the game. As Wilkinson brings it forward again, gives it to McCarthy Scarsbrook. 40 metres away from their own line. They're on the last tackle. Kicks outside the 40. Doesn't matter anyway, because Tony Gigot had cut the ball out in mid-air.
Well, Catalan's last set of 6 now, and some of the players looking really tired. Hands on knees, hands on hips. Still trying to get back behind the ball. You know that it's definitely not been there now. The second half, the game's gone away from them.
Yeah, and it's another defeat on the road. The other teams in Super League say how difficult it is for them to go to Catalan. Just imagine how difficult it is for Steve McNamara and the Catalan Dragons to play in this competition. They do the journey, well, at least 11 times, and then, depending where they finish in the league table, maybe 3 or 4 times more. Drink water. It's a big ask and a big demand, of course, in the south of France for a successful team from supporters and directors alike. Inside the last 10 seconds of the game. Ryan Morgan did well to get that ball that was kicked towards him. Here is Makinson, who I think we'll be able to confirm shortly as the... There is the full-time siren. Job done for Justin Holbrook. The cheeks from the St Helens coach. Now a smile. He knows his team are 4 points clear at the top of the table. Steve McNamara, well, the work continues and the agony goes on for him at the wrong end of the Betfred Super League table. Climbed off the foot last week against Hull. Hope was springing eternal when they made the trip across here yesterday. Brought down to earth tonight with a little bit of a bump.
And to be honest, with Saints' performance, they weren't at the best, and Catalan, I thought they were poor. They only looked good probably in the last 10 minutes, chasing the game when they were throwing the ball around.
They did manage 3 tries, though, here at Saints, Terry.
They did, Eddie, but I still think that they look poor, Eddie.
Only 5-3 in tries.
I'll go back to when I said about Saints. I didn't think Saints were at the best. I didn't think Catalan really offered anything until the final 10 minutes when they started throwing the ball around.
And I think Saints defended their way to victory, exemplary on the other side of the ball. As we finish the game, according to our stats, only 8 missed tackles. That's unbelievable for a team like Saints, who throw the ball around, put some energy into when they've got the ball, but terrific on defence tonight.
Yeah, big on defence. Normally they're so good on attack, and the Betfred man of the match tonight is very good on attack, and tonight he goes home with the silver salver and the cheque for his charity. Bill, it's with Tommy Makinson you are.
Correct. Ed, Tommy, congratulations on a man of the match performance. By the standards you've set in recent weeks, that was a bit more of a struggle, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a tough game. That, you know, we knew Catalan, you know, they'd come with everything, you know, on the back of a good win last week, but, you know, we got away from our game plan a bit there, and, you know, it was a bit flat. You know, everything seemed a bit flat, but, you know, 2 points is all that matters in this game, and, you know, we got it.
The tries when they came were good. Yours was athletic.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's just what we've been practicing and training, you know. I think all wingers nowadays, you know, we practice that a lot, and, you know, there was a lot of good tries. I think Morgan Knowles, that try he scored, got us back going. It just summed our game up. What we're good at is running hard with support, and, you know, showed his strength, and he went straight through. I think he's been sensational, you know, the last few weeks, and, you know, it's good to have him back.
They were hard to shake off, though, weren't they, Catalan?
They're a tough side, you know. They're not. It's not true where they're sitting. You know, they're a fantastic side. You look at their team sheet, and they've got stars all over the shop, and, you know, they've got a great coach, and, you know, only take a bit of bonding and what have you, and they'll come together, and, you know, they'll get a win, and they'll kick on. They are a great side, but, you know, tonight, like I said, 2 points. You know, we're happy with that.
They're happy with the weekend off.
Yeah, well, yeah, it won't be off, but we'll be in Sunday.
Charity of your choice gets 250 quid, Tom.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, same as last time. It's going to go to the Tony Barra Foundation. You know, my partner's uncle, who sadly lost his life to a brain tumour. You know, and that'll go to his foundation and hopefully help a lot of people. And, you know, I just want to say a big shout out to Luke Walsh as well. You know, a good mate of ours who used to play here. You know, one of the best players you've played with, and you know, send our best wishes to him and his family back home who's had to retire. But you know, he's a great bloke, and you know, we're thinking of him.
Thanks, Tommy. Well said. Tommy Makinson, one of the try scorers. Jody Broughton was another of the try scorers tonight. I mean, if it had been your night, if things had clicked, you could have got very close there.
Yeah, I know. You know, we've seen the last two performances of St Helens, and they've won pretty easy. So we wanted to bring the fight to them today. I mean, obviously we're near the bottom of the league, and there's no pressure. There was no pressure on us. Everyone was expecting Saints to come away with a big win, so we wanted to take it to them. But we gave away too many penalties, and we didn't complete enough sets in the first half, and I think that drained us in the end.
Try for you. That takes you to 99 in Super League. Did you know that?
Yeah, I was aware of it. Someone said to me the other week. You know, I'm just here for the performances for the boys. You know, if I don't score and we win, I'm happy.
You got the win last week against Hull. You've gone close, a lot closer against Saints here tonight than the last couple of opponents have. What's this doing for the mood in the Catalan camp?
It's good. I mean, the effort's there now. I think earlier on in the season we were lacking a bit of effort, and you can see the boys are working really hard for each other. But you know, they're just the crisp passes out there at the minute, and I think as time goes on, we'll get it.
Jody, well done tonight on reaching 99.
Thank you.
Good luck for the 100.
Cheers. Thank you.
Steve McNamara is the Catalan Dragons coach, and that must be frustrating really, because one or two other things have gone your way. You could have got very close to Saints tonight.
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity loss, to be honest. I know Saints have been in great form, and they were maybe a little bit off where they have been in recent weeks, but we came here with a real chance, I thought, and we give ourselves a chance. But you know, a few dumb plays there, and I thought we didn't find any rhythm in attack there to put Saints under enough pressure.
So when you say dumb plays, was that at their end of the field?
Oh, I think all over. You know, we got some penalties away when they were coming out in yardage, and we just weren't as clean as we have been in the last couple of weeks. And I thought the chances were there. I thought the opportunity was there to come to Saints tonight and win. And good luck to them. You know, they were good enough. They weren't quite at their best, but they got the 2 points.
You refer to the penalty, Steve. How frustrating is that to lapse into those old ways?
Oh, it's not the old ways. You know, it's every time we come away from home. You know, it's tough when you're in a stadium where you don't have any fans in the stadium. And you know, there's a couple of ones. I think there was one for an escort in the corner there. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what it was or it wasn't, and I didn't have the facility to sort of see it again. So, but no, it's tough, and it does cost games. You know, it does. You know, there's no two ways about it. So we have to be good in that area.
Steve, thanks very much indeed.
No problem. Thanks.
And Justin Holbrook is the Saints coach, and be pleased with the defence. What about the attack?
Oh yeah, there was just a flat game, wasn't it, from both sides? It would have been tough to watch at home, I'd imagine. So look, we've been great for a few weeks now, and it's hard to you know, it's very hard to do that every week. So you know, we weren't at our best, but we were good enough to win, and that's the main thing.
And you're up against an opponent who were in your face and in the way.
Yeah, and that's okay. You know, we expected that. They're not just going to sit back and, you know, let us have it our way. So we expected a tough game. You know, they're a better side than where they sit on the table. So we knew it was going to be a tough game. But I just thought the game in general, both sides struggled to get out of first gear, I thought. So, yeah, poor standard of game, but happy to win.
3 tries conceded. Although defensively you were pretty tight.
Yeah, still happy there. You know, we're unlucky on a grubber kick and, you know, dropped the ball here and then won at the end. So, yeah, you know, it kept us in the game, I thought, tonight.
Justin, thanks a lot. Have a good weekend off. Do they get the weekend off?
No, we won't have the weekend off. But anyway, we'll still enjoy it after a win.
Cheers.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah, and the 23rd win of Justin Holbrook's St Helens career, his 32nd game in charge. It is Saints' 12th win of the season. 26 points to 12 in the end. 16-4 at half-time. 2 tries apiece in the second half. John Wells left you at half-time talking about a potential Catalan Dragons comeback. He didn't say it would happen, but a potential one. It looked even more slight a chance, though, when Regan Gray scored first for Saints in the second half.
Yeah, and after just 4 minutes, Brian, 4 tries in the second half. It's worth refreshing those tries before we have a look at the game breaker. As you said, it started with Regan Grace's first on 43 minutes. Just some nice play and some good hands, something that we've seen so often from St Helens this season. And then it was a Saints mistake that offered up the chance for Jody Broughton to cross, as Bill had said, for his 99th career try. Nice in and away. There's plenty of skill there on the wings for the Catalan Dragons. 70th minute, crucial try for me, this one. Some great hands. We're going to have a closer look at this in just a second. Percival hands on to Regan Grace for his second. Then the Dragons, they were there, and they did show that there's a pulse and there's life down in the south of France. With Tierney crossing in the corner, and that's where we're going to begin our little assessment of this second half. It is a game breaker, but I think it's worth showing, mentioning dispatches rather, for Tony Gigot at the back, at the tackle of the game, the play of the game, arguably in defeat. It's a great piece of defensive play, absolute try saver, and did keep them in the competition for much longer periods of the game than probably they deserved this evening. However, the game breaker, and it was Regan Grace's second on the 70th minute of the game. This is a picture that we've seen so often from St Helens this year, and against so many opposition. This is happening. This is not just to the Catalan Dragons. This is against so many opposition. They just are completely dominated at the ruck, and St Helens are getting the go forward against a static defence. It's something they do extremely well. Wilkin able to get deep into the line, an offload away. Not reacted from the Catalan Dragons, not able to react really from the Catalan Dragons. The thing that impressed me about St Helens, when Peyru comes back on the inside, you don't see immediately that there's anything doing here. But just keep your eyes on two players who I'll pick out for you in a second. The first is John Wilkin, he's making his way across, and the second is the man inside him, Thompson. Just have a look at what these do very, very late, and they're able to set up and fall into shape very, very quickly. And that shape's important, because that line there from Thompson really undoes the Catalan Dragons' defence. After that, yeah, we can all sit back and we can admire the hands, something that we've come to expect from St Helens. But it's worth looking at where those things are founded and where those things have their root, Brian. And that is what we were saying at half-time. What the Catalan Dragons lack in detail is very much in evidence for St Helens' side, who extend their lead at the top of the Super League table. Break next week, they face Cass in the Cup. So it'll be another focus for them coming up over the weekend.
They do indeed, John, and that's before they face Witness at Magic. Right, quick look at the Betfred Super League table. Saints now 4 clear of Wigan. Wigan, though, with 2 games in hand. Warrington coming hard up in the rear of those two sides. Catalan Dragons, they stay second bottom in the table. Just the 3 wins that have now 10 defeats for them in this Super League season. Right, let's review that game if we can, Phil Clark. And I'm going to ask you a difficult question. I want you to give me a positive for either side in a game Justin Holbrook, the St Helens coach, described as very flat.
I think a positive for St Helens was that they still won comfortably enough without really being nervous or losing any confidence or starting to worry. They didn't seem
well.
Yes, yeah, and to win without playing well is a positive for them. I suppose they've kept some juice, haven't they? They're going to need it in some future games, particularly in the Cup, and then in further matches further on. So I don't think you can stay at that highest level between now and the grand final. They needed to dip and still win matches. So that was a positive.
What would have most disappointed you about St Helens tonight?
Well, I expected it to be a flat performance. Right. I said before the game, didn't I? Expected the Catalan Dragons to get close. What I'm more disappointed about, and I can't find a positive, is the Catalan Dragons. They should have played miles better than what they did. The penalties they conceded, they were.
Steve McNamara says opportunity lost, no rhythm in attack.
The teams appeared penalties that you concede. If you'd never played the game before, or maybe played it last week for the first time, this was your second outing. They were the sort of penalties that I expect from players who had that level of experience. So I was disappointed with them, and obviously their attack's not that great, but they got themselves close. The positive is they scored 3 tries, and they didn't. I mean, there were a lot of other sides could have come here and lost by a lot more points. So they did get close, but clearly not close enough.
No, they're well off in the end. Steve McNamara, as I said it was an opportunity lost. They are running out of games if they want to try and make the top 8. Okay, what have we got coming up for you on Sky Sports? Sky Sports Premier League will be your destination for this weekend. We've got plenty of Premier League action for you. In the race for the top 4 and in the battle to stay up. We've got Brighton Man United 7:30 p.m. on Friday Night Football, Sky Sports Premier League. Saturday sees Stoke at home against Crystal Palace, 11:30 in the morning for that one. Again, Sky Sports Premier League. Same channel, double header on Super Sunday. Man City Huddersfield, 12:30 p.m. and Chelsea Liverpool, 4:15. Liverpool, I should say, fresh from their European adventures. El Clasico on Sunday. Barcelona at home against Real Madrid, 7 p.m. on Sky Sports Football. And I hope you can join us tomorrow at Emerald Headingley Stadium in Leeds. It's the 2017 Super League champions against the Warrington Wolves, who have won their last 7 Super League matches. These teams met in round 1. That went the way of the Rhinos. Can the Wolves gain revenge? Right, hope you can join us tomorrow at Leeds for that one. Phil, thank you very much for your company. St Helens march on. Not their greatest performance of the season so far, but enough to do for the Catalan Dragons.
Good hands. Makinson with the dab through, looking for Lomax. Lomax touches down. Richardson will hoist the kick out wide to the right-hand side, looking for Makinson. Finding Makinson. Clutches it out in the air, plonks it down. Drinkwater slides the kick in. The chance here for the Army. He's scored, I think. Here is Morgan Knowles. Well, he's played to the whistle, he's played to the rules, he's played to the crowd, and he's got the 4 points. Richardson finds Lomax. Lomax goes to Percival. Percival to Regan Grace. But it is Jody Broughton. Is it play on this?
Yes. That's a try.
Regan Grace over for his 2nd try of the match, and will probably wrap up the points now.
Sky Sports. Feel it all.
Just looking to pass, earn the right to play, go forward.
Gale to Hardaker. Hardaker to Minikin. Wide to Reedham. 31 for the season.
Visit our website today for your free RSPCA guide and find lots of little ways to help.
A lawnmower auction. Could be a good idea. Yep, could be. That's Overy ruined. But in the Dacia Sandero, we opted for a rear view camera instead. You know, because it's actually useful. Dacia Sandero, what car winner 6th year in a row. Sorry if we're repeating ourselves.
Todd Doors make finding the perfect door easy. Just visit todddoors.co.uk or one of our showrooms to choose from our unrivaled range of traditional and contemporary internal and external doors. Plus, with our price match guarantee, we won't be beaten on price. And for a limited time only, use discount code TOD35 to get £35 off your first purchase at Todd Doors. With over 40,000 doors in stock, you're sure to find a door as individual as you are at Todd Doors.
Armed robbery in progress.
Team